Hey guys, welcome to the Skull channel. I figured today I would just go over what I plan to bring to the Dropzone tournament next week at Adepticon. This is going to be a version 2 tournament, and I was just kind of building my force and figured I would talk about it, show it on the camera, tell you guys what I'm looking to do with the list, and yeah, just have something to talk about for you guys. Alright, so the big two linchpin models in my list, the Overseer, it's absolutely amazing. I almost consider it a must-have in a Scourge force, but it's totally list dependent. If you were bringing like oppressors and the Ravagers and stuff, not as required. But if you're bringing hunters, if you're bringing infantry, and then almost all the Scourge aircraft have plasma, so it actually can buff ranges. It can double the shots. It has some neat tricks for a Scourge army. I absolutely love it. I'm almost always going to field an Overseer. That said, the Desolator. The Desolator's changed a little bit. Actually, they both have changed. They both picked up a couple of damage points in version 2. But the Desolator has changed. It now has Destroyer. It has Flame on its focused beam. It's down to energy 11, but 3 shots. So that might be a little bit much. We'll see. So yeah, it'll be able to move forward 9 inches, target a building. So it could be all the way out here, target a building, get some troops inside. That's really good. The Desolator also, within 6 inches, when it blows up or does its wide attack, any building within 6 inches automatically loses 3 damage points and gets a fire token. Buildings within 12 automatically just lose 3 damage points. So you can put a hurting on buildings really easily with the Desolator. I think it's going to be fun. I expect my opponents to probably use airstrikes to hurt the Desolator before it gets to really do all of its fun shenanigans. Scourge, I think, typically are going to be very weak to airstrikes in version 2. Could be wrong. Let's see how the tournament goes. But from the way I look at it, airstrikes are awesome. Just Scourge don't have the tools to deal with them. Typically in version 1, you had minders that you could screen approaches, but now that you can have all sorts of airstrikes come in from behind and along the table edges, there's just no way to really protect your big beasties. So you're going to end up in scenarios where people are just going to be putting their airstrike runs on your commanders or some of your other vital units like the Raider, and you can't really protect against it, so you just gotta accept it and move on with the plans. Okay, so what else do I have? I've got monitors. Love monitors. They cannot hop out of a transport and blow up in version 2, so that's nice. But prowlers can hop out of transports. They normally hit on a 3-up, but against let's see, tanks and stuff on the ground or buildings, against tanks on the ground, they'll be hitting on a 5-up for when they jump out of a transport and try biting things and clawing them, or make their acid attack. Let's see, I got 3 hunters. Those hunters are just there to basically provide some threat to buildings, do some little anti-tank work. I'm really looking to leverage the Overseer in giving them additional range or doubling up the shots against something like technicals. We've got vampires. I absolutely love vampires. I think they're just fun little annoying models that can get put on the table. They've got a move and fire of 9, but the range of their attack is only 2 inches, so they threaten 11 inches. But if you get, stuck behind a building, you can cover a good central area of the board with them, and they're just annoying for people to deal with. So I always like to take a couple of those when I can. The Screamer Raider combo really has not changed any in version 2, but what has changed is how you look for objectives. When you go to look for an objective, it's basically a 6+ now. If you occupy a building and you've got the occupier's advantage, you get to search for it on a 5+. If you have some ground-based transports, it goes down to a 4+ when it's there. So you can stack all those different bonuses. The Screamer will make it so that it is one harder for your opponent to search. So if you get a Screamer near a building, it's going to, even if they have the occupier advantage, they still need to roll a 6 to go ahead and to find that objective. So then, what we also have in the list is a whole bunch of infantry. Now I've got 10 bases of infantry in this list. And what I'm really going to be trying to do with this is to have the infantry, we're searching for objectives, we're trying to do all that kind of fun stuff. But I want to try using the Overseer to put the infantry in a central building and then buff their guns. Oh, excuse me, hold on. I got some beeping coming over from the other side of the table. 1 second. I've got some UPSs that I'll be using to provide power for the recording equipment next week at Adepticon, and I was kind of testing that out with the video here today, and I forgot to mute one of the UPSs. So anyways, that's what that noise was. So back to the infantry. I've got 10 stands of just regular warriors, and what I want to do is, if I can get the Overseer within 9 inches of a building, the Overseer can buff all the infantry in this building. So let's say I had 6 infantry up here. And I'll just stick them over here. In that building, they're able to threaten with the Overseer buff. Typically, they've only got 12 inches, so about that far, which is pretty sizable if you've got a building that's in the center of the table. And you've got quite the angles, especially if it's a big building, projecting threat. But if you got the Overseer, now it's 18 inches. He can extend the range of their gun. So if they go to the wall, they're able to shoot their Energy 11 gun, basically, 18 inches, which at the center of the table gets you almost to the other side of the table with infantry. That's pretty handy. Another thing that you can do is, instead of extending the range, well, now we're going to fire their Energy 11 gun 2 times, but it drops down to Energy 10. So still really good against some of the lighter armored vehicles, but you're able to double up the shots, which can be beneficial. Another neat little trick, and this is what I'm trying to show with this list, or see how it plays out in a tournament, is with the small arms fire, the way it's worded currently, the Overseer can buff the range of their AA capabilities by an extra 6 inches. So their small arms fire will actually shoot out to 12 inches from the building. So you're going to get, a decent AA zone that you can have infantry going to the walls, shooting out to negate, transports coming in. There's some fun things that the Overseer likes to provide to the list. So that's the goal with my infantry. That's why I've got 10 bases of infantry. We're going to see how it goes. I think you could do a real infantry heavy Scourge list where you're basically just bringing the Overseer and lots of infantry. There's a lot more flame. People will be, now that I've actually said this on the video, I'm sure people might change up their list just a little bit. Well, maybe, who knows. But that's the goal. And then they've also got their invaders. Like I said, you can get into the buildings and search and have a better odds of finding the objective and then skedaddling off the board. Okay, what else do I have in the list? I've got some destroyers because destroyers are always fun. They can go into those buildings that are under fire and maybe survive a turn or two to get an objective and then head on out. We've got the Corruptor. It's another one of those models that I feel if you're a Scourge player, you need to have the Corruptor because just one Corruptor is able to get out the worms, and then on those missions where there's I forget what it's called for Adepticon, but where there's an intel piece in every single one of the buildings, your Corruptor can fire a worm into a building and have it search to see if it's going to be a focal point or a booby trap or just a piece of intel. So these are great. Then they're just a little gunship that you could go around and hunt, different tanks and stuff. In the list, we've also got Corsairs. So Corsairs are just absolutely fun. If you guys haven't played a game of version 2 yet with the Airstrikes, Airstrikes are great. Let me see if I've got the stats here for these guys. I just got to find the right page. Corsairs. Okay. So to get a Airstrike run, it only costs you 35 points with Corsairs. But what you get out of that is 3 Corsairs coming in with an accuracy of 4+. And they've got Demo 2, AA, and then Airburst. But what you can do is come in, hit like an enemy transport that is got an objective that's trying to flee off the side of the table. You're relying on the 4+ there, but so you'll have 3 shots. But these guys are very versatile. You can hunt tanks with them. You can hit transports. I really, really enjoy Corsairs as far as version 2 with Airstrikes. Play some games, get to know how Airstrikes work. Corsairs are really, really good. Now, the flip side of that is so I buy this entire three-man unit of Corsairs for 35 points. They get to make one run, go off the table, or they can slowly come across. But for each one of these that dies, it's 170 points. So if your opponent is able to kill some of your airstrikes, your Corsairs coming across the table, what are they? So it's what, 170, what's that go to? 340, 480 points. Did I do that right? No, I didn't do the points right. This unit alone is going to, if they knock it out, give over 400 points for kill points there at the end of the game, which could be devastating. And you can take multiple airstrike runs. So in my current list here for Adepticon, which I'm going to be taking, I'm bringing 3 units of Corsairs. So that trying to project some threat, make sure that people are keeping their AA back to kind of maybe not so much deal with the Overseer, the Desolator, or the Raider, but also keep in mind that I'm going to have these Corsairs coming in trying to target those key units. And that's going to be the common tactic in version 2 with any of these airstrikes. Big fan of it. I think it's great. Before, you never really got to see these models on the table. Now they see use. It's really good. So that's essentially my game plan for Adepticon. I want to get infantry in buildings. I'm going to use the Overseer to buff. The Overseer is just going to hang back behind buildings, hopefully able to project its 9 inches so that it's not getting targeted, but it's hiding and buffing up the rest of the units. The Desolator is gonna go do what the Desolator does and just kind of go forward and deny an area. So Hunters, they're just targets of opportunity, and it's really infantry into buildings, try and find those objectives, and get out of there as quick as I can. So I look forward to the battle reports. If I get to be on the stream not stream, but on any of the recordings where they all get flamed. But yeah, no, so this is what I'm taking to Adepticon. I figured you guys might be interested in knowing what what I'm taking, why I'm taking it, and what some of the changes are in version 2. So, all right, look forward to talking more about Adepticon with you guys next week.